I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Guys, welcome back. Oops, the podcast. Giulio Gallerati, joined by young and newly engaged Ryan Lynch. Ryan, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Good to see you. Today we have a very special guest. You can check out her special Playtime on YouTube right now. And she's also about to record another one November 21st
at Brooklyn Velvet.
Brooklyn Velvet. Give it up for Onika McLean, everybody.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Welcome to the show. Looking great, as always.
New York in the building.
Onika. So there's a couple things that stand out to me about you. Okay. There are some obvious ones, being that, first of all, you look incredible for your age, which I don't know what her age is.
For my age. I'm timeless.
You look incredible in general. You look incredible for your age. I don't know how old she is, but I do know that she has a 29 or 30-year-old child.
Yes.
You have multiple children.
I have two.
How old are they?
30 and 25.
30 and 25. I don't understand that at all. You look better than pretty much all childless people, which I don't understand.
I have to keep myself together. You know what I'm saying?
I'm so fascinated by it. And I always wonder too, when I see you, I'm like, how long did it take her to get ready to come here? Because you always look different, dynamic. Again, sorry, I don't want this to sound antiquated, like I'm sitting here being like, you look amazing,
Black
you're beautiful.
Unless you smoke it.
You know what I mean? Okay. But anyway, it stands out to me, and I've always been impressed, and you always light up the room when you walk in. So
thank you. I love fashion.
What, you love fashion?
I went to fashion high school. When I say I love fashionable stuff, like I think that's the only ism I am. Like if instead of being like racist, like it's... When people can't dress, it pisses me off, especially like in comedy when you see these beautiful women and they're on stage and they're looking real crappy, and they're looking real crappy because some fool told them that people are not going to take you serious if you look too hot. So then they don't brush their teeth. What are you doing, girl? You are pretty. Like, not everybody gets that luxury. That's a privilege that you're not tapping into. That's dumb.
Well, I think you're sort of firing directly at an entire generation of people, which in a way, like being a guy who is about to get married soon, like it's actually really nice of the universe to make this entire next generation of people look terrible.
Right.
I have no feelings of FOMO whatsoever.
Yeah.
Because everybody looks like they're trying to hide
that they're pretty.
All of their stuff that they've been given by God.
Yeah, it's so crazy. It's the fentanyl. I'm telling you, the drugs are messing y'all up. It does not make sense. It doesn't make sense. Like, why? Why would you make your eyes look? Why would you intentionally look like you're in a drug-induced coma? Like, how is that a look? You don't see these girls, and they walking down the runway. Y'all know that Hollywood is crazy, right? Stop. Full stop, right?
No, but it's like the baggy clothes thing and the the days of, and whatever. I'm not saying necessarily I prefer.
You know you can't do anything for the male gaze, so.
Exactly, but that's nice. It's nice to not even notice because it's like all covered up.
They're like, y'all look so bad. The males aren't gazing.
We're
y'all
not interested. We are not interested. But so I didn't even know fashion high school is a thing.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's called High School of Fashion Industries, and it's about fashion design, merchandising, all the things in the fashion industry. There's a high school on 26th Street and 7th Avenue in Manhattan.
Is it part of the Fashion Institute?
FIT?
Yeah.
So a lot of people that come from there. It's like a feeder in a way.
Yeah. Okay. It's sort of like a youth soccer team that eventually becomes the professional one.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something.
That's your feeder brain.
That's where I'm.
That's how my brain goes.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm not even interesting. So it's like a vocational school for fashion.
Yep, for
so
fashion.
You're like, all right, I know what I want to do. I guess that's like efficient to like have an idea of like what I like, what I'm going to do.
Well, in New York, I guess it was a necessary thing because it's the fashion capital of the world.
Right, makes sense.
So many people here are coming here for that. So And then I guess they was running out of school ideas because they have automotive.
Right.
They have school for electronics. They have robotics. Like they have.
Right. So you mentioned earlier, I didn't know this, but you own property that you rent out. I don't know if that's something you don't want people knowing. We don't have to dox you. We don't have to dox you on the address. Onika LLC. But and I'm sure you know this firsthand, that it seems as if, to me at least, vocational careers feel much more appealing than they did when I was a kid. I'm sure you know when you get the bill from the plumber and the electrician and these guys make a lot of money. And I guess it's not traditionally sexy because you come home with fucking grease all over your hands or whatever. But I see some of these guys and I'm like, these guys make much more money than I do.
A lot of money. but because it's not, I guess it's the working stiff. Like New York has changed so much to like the finance bros. Everything is about, big business, corporations and all that stuff. But they have apprentice programs here that they will take kids from high schools, or sometimes when people coming from jail, they will apprentice them for a couple of years, these unions, and then they get them jobs.
I didn't know that. It's a good thing that exists. So you've clearly lived a lot of life. I typically hate this question of how did you get into comedy? Yeah. But I feel like, and we don't usually ask it, but I'm curious about you because I don't know this. I don't think we've ever chatted about it. But A, how long have you been doing it? B, at what point did you start doing it? C, what were you doing before? I want to know all of it. So let's start at the beginning.
Okay, so before I just was in law, like I know.
Doing what?
I do this thing called managing clerk, where I train new attorneys on civil procedures and rules of the court, and then I work as a liaison between the court system and then the law firms to kind of marry the rules, just so that they have a cohesive kind of organization, so that they can get to justice.
How? What the fuck? How does one?
And I'm a board member of my organizations, which is so cool. I'm like the vice president. I got so many things going on.
You are still doing this?
Yes.
So wow. So this has been your career?
Uh-huh.
And how does one go from fashion school into a legal liaison between the courts and the attorneys?
This program that was a welfare to work program called America Works. So isn't that crazy? I have so many lives. I'm telling you.
I'm sure.
So many lives. So I found myself a young mother, and my now ex-husband, but then boyfriend, was in jail. I was pregnant. And after I had the baby, I was like, I need to get my life together, because I was like, this is not the life that I want. So
but you were holding him down, as they say.
I was being a ride or die.
Yeah.
East New York, shout out. They call me black. It's so funny, right? So I was being a ride or die. I died. Nobody talks about that part. You could die, girl. Okay, anyway. You should leave. You are not safe, and you don't have your brain. But okay. So I found myself in that situation, and then I went to this program called America Works, and America Works would train you on interviewing practices, and they had this government program where the companies that would hire the candidates from America Work, they would get tax deductions. So I got this job at a law firm as the fax runner.
Got it. And
so that's just because lawyers were lazy and they didn't want to get out their chairs, and the secretaries were lazy, so they didn't want to get out their chairs. So fax would come in, and then you would just run around the building with the fax. You got a fax, you got a fax, you got a fax.
Is this position exist still, or is
it
faxing?
Better not, because who is faxing?
Are people in the faxing any longer in the legal field?
I don't think there's a fax machine. Do you know what that is?
I know what it is. I know what it is, but I don't know
why
what it
is.
Does and why and how.
So damn, what am I? This is bullshit. How did I come in here? Okay, wait. So a fax machine was like an email before we had emails.
Wasn't it? My understanding of a fax machine, it's an email that just goes from printer to printer.
Yeah, but that's what an email does.
But it was before email.
But that's what an email does.
Yes.
It just goes from device to device. People's business cards. I bet you your
I've
dad's
seen-
business card says a fax number on it.
Yes, I've seen the number on it, but I didn't understand. I didn't know what
It's
that
an
meant.
e-fax now.
I thought you'd call it.
So so was it a freestanding fax machine at the time, or was it connected to the printer at least?
You had to print it out, I think. Yeah, I don't
Right.
even remember.
Was it always connected to a printer? I don't even know that.
Yes, I think so. I think the fax machine is a printer and phone together, so
Okay.
that your phone can give you information. So it's just like an email.
You start sending
It's just-
faxes
it's
to
just a-
jail,
It's a
flexing.
No, I don't think you can fax jail, but you can call jail. I think it's a fax machine. Yeah,
Do you know what a fax machine is?
yeah. They still have them. People still have them. But wait, are you questioning the thing that I brought up?
Just because you had
Lynch.
an interrogative tone.
Yeah, no,
you're like questioning.
I forgot what I was talking about.
That's what I was
what
asking.
happened.
Okay.
And then no, I know what a fax machine is. It gives the documents.
Well,
through
bro,
the-
she knows how to use it. She doesn't know how to. She didn't invent it.
Yeah, you just know how to use it. It's still a thing. That's crazy. It's still a thing. Law is antiquated. But so then, I always wanted to be actor in the arts, but my life did what it was gonna do, and I had 2 kids,
Yeah.
and then I was like married, and then divorced, and then
While he was in jail, still
no, he was like home.
he got
He's
back.
like in and out.
Got it.
In and out kind of situation. And then I figured I needed to do something, so I went to college and got bigger positions in that field. But I wanted to do something in the arts, and I always would take acting classes, but I would never audition. Like it just never got to a space where I was auditioning.
Yeah.
And one day I just got an email and I took a comedy class. And I fell in love with it instantly.
How long ago is this?
8 years ago.
Okay.
And I never stopped, like in 2015. And I've not, during the pandemic, I was crawling on people's roofs so that I can still do comedy.
I associate you with I came back from the pandemic and there was a bunch of people who I didn't know.
Yeah.
And you were one of those people.
Really?
I was like, I need to know all these people.
Yeah, but I did it way before the pandemic.
I know. But like, for whatever reason, the landscape of like a lot of the places that I would have been, there was just a lot of new people at them who
Yes.
like made progress during the pandemic, and now they're at the clubs. And I was like,
Pandemic comics, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And they go hard, boy. They be like, oh,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
be like, calm down.
It's crazy. Crazy. Okay, so I have a question about visiting one's man in jail.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So is it one of those things?
Take me back.
Yeah.
Take me back, dear Lord. Okay.
Yeah.
So
If this isn't
Never
too triggering. So like in theory, you get all done up, right, to go see your man in jail. Are there
That's crazy. I've never been asked these questions, and I do talk about it. Okay, go ahead.
so like, are there quote conjugal visits in prison? Like, can you like get through the thing and like spend physical time with each other?
No, well, I wasn't
know what I mean.
married when he was in jail.
So does that mean you don't get as many rights?
So right, so you're not getting conjugal visits for a girlfriend.
Interesting.
No,
Interesting.
you
so
have to be married.
Can you get married while the person's in jail?
Yeah, my friend got married in jail. I was his maid of honor twice.
Oh my God. So where does the wedding occur when you get married in jail?
In the chapel.
And everybody can physically go to the
No,
chapel.
just one other person and the guard.
And so maid of honor, so you don't get to go stand there.
No, you stand there so you can bring up a witness.
So the witness doubles as the maid of honor.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
Can you believe that I was doing that
Wow.
more than once?
And it's still like a happy, joyous day.
Yeah, because the girl was happy. She was marrying her man in jail.
And now they can spend time together in jail.
And now they can have conjugal visits.
How often?
How often were the visits? Oh, I don't know. I
Do you
haven't
know
had
how
that.
often one can theoretically do it, or you don't know because you never
I don't know.
got it?
But I would assume like every couple months, maybe once a month. I don't know.
So you
Now I'm just guessing.
So you got married when he got out.
Yeah. Mhm.
Got it. And was it ever discussed as to whether or not you would get married while he was in jail?
No, because I wouldn't want to do that.
Got it. So you were like, I don't want to have a fucking half-ass wedding. I want to have a real wedding.
But I didn't have a real wedding anyway. I went to the city hall.
Got it. So you ended up, but I get it.
But what happened was I was pregnant and then he went to jail. And so then I was like, we were supposed to get married and then all the things. And I didn't want to get married while I was in jail, but while he was in jail. And then I had the baby. So then when he came home from jail, I didn't want to be a stereotypical baby mother.
Right.
Shout out to the baby mothers, but I didn't want that. But technically, I was because I was married after. So then we got married.
Got it.
Which was dumb.
I mean, hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah, I had no sight. I was blind like Ray Charles. I was like, oh, you know what else I'm gonna do? My life up.
So when you go visit, are you allowed to bring stuff for him?
Yeah, you can bring clothes and I think food, money, commissary stuff.
But you can also just like upload that, right? Like you can sort of like, is there like a system where you just can upload stuff for him into commissary?
No, I think you just put it
you
in
physically bring it?
Well, this was in the 90s though.
Got it.
So I don't know what they're doing now.
Right.
But you would just bring the stuff. You would bring bags of stuff. They had this this program called Prison Gap. I think they still have it, where these ex-con got a bus company and they would have bus sites in different places around the city. And you meet the bus at like 4 a.m. or whatever it is. And they take women to jail to visit their family. Women, moms, to visit their families upstate, because most of our jails in New York City are way upstate.
So where was he?
A lot of different places. They move you around. I want to say Kaksaki, just a bunch of different places.
Any like famous ones?
Tell me a famous jail.
I mean, Sing Sing. All I know is like, I know some like terminology just from like, I mean, not to sound like a stereotypical white dude who listened to hip hop in the 90s.
Yes, but I lived hip hop in the 90s. That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did he do? If that's not too much.
Bad stuff. But drugs, he was like into like, dealing and stuff back then.
Were you ever like you got to stop doing this? Or was it one of those things where he seemed to like have his shit together, so you were like, whatever?
No, I grew up in the projects, right? So during that time, that was like the thing to do at first. And then when you get older, then it's like you need a job. Then you need a job. So then he got a job,
So, but once he got the job, it was too late because he already was still doing that. Like, how did that?
No, he just was him. He was just, I don't know, like people grow up in very harsh circumstances, and especially when you're a kid and your parents are on drugs and all that kind of stuff, those children aren't protected. But those children are then groomed to be the next predator, if you think about it.
Right. Well, it makes sense. It's like, this is the best, easiest way to make money. I know how to do it because other people around me are doing it.
Right.
And these are the people who are making money. Therefore, I will do that.
Right.
And so this is sort of like the tail end of that famous period of time, crack, all that stuff. And I'm assuming East New York, since you shouted it out earlier, this was sort of a very, quote, happening area for all this stuff, right?
Yeah, it's still a very hard place to live because this city, the way this city works is it segregates. It segregates by zones. Your kids can't go to certain schools. If you live in certain communities, you have to test out of the community. This city is really set up for the haves and the have-nots to remain the way it is. And if you learn that and then you know how to start navigating through this city, you could do something. Right. But it's
you have
not
to be
gonna
exceptional to do it, right?
You got to be exceptional because they're going to make you jump through a hoop. And if you're black, they're going to put fire on the hoop. You know what I'm saying? The hoop is going to have and so now it's like
the hoop is on fire.
Right. So now it's the roof. But, but now you have to be exceptional, which is what? You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
So
the country is famously kind of set up that way.
But in the
social mobility.
In the South, like, everybody goes to school together because it's like one high school and one, they're more segregated in the South than they are here. Here, you can go, unless it's this train, just seeing your own people. You could just stay, little Korea, little Italy, like Chinatown. They really set it up where it's just like, you just be these pockets of people and then you really don't emaciate with each other unless you are one of those people that loves to see what's similar. Like that's how I am.
What else is out there?
And who's like me? My kids went to schools in Manhattan on Lexington and 3rd Avenue, Lower Lab. So they had to get tested into gifted programs, and then there was no busing, so I had to take them from East New York, Brooklyn, to the Upper East Side.
Which is far, guys, in case you don't know the city setup. East New York is about as far away as you can get.
East New York is the last area in Brooklyn, right, into it's Queens. So from here, it's like a 40-minute drive. So like if I was driving, but I wasn't driving, I was taking a train, it would take like an hour and a half each way to get them to a place, because that's how hard the city makes it.
Right. And part of it is like logistical, but that doesn't make it better. Like if the housing where people who are poorer tend to be, which then you get basically set up in a situation where you're going to be there, and it's difficult to get out of it, because making just enough money to not have to like depend on it is actually shittier than just getting it all given to you. So it doesn't give you an incentive to get out of those programs where you get your housing for free, because you're supposed to pay a little extra for Section 8, but no one does.
Right.
Famously. So it's like you get your apartment for free, you get food, you get money given to you. Why would you?
But oftentimes is you don't really get your place for free, because what'll happen is you'll get a little job and then they go by your income. So the more money that you make, the more money that they take, so that you can stay in those positions.
Yes.
If it was just chill where you're just not working and somebody's just taking care of you, that's not what's happening.
Right.
What's happening is the harder you work, the more that they take from you, because you don't know the way the laws are set up so that you can benefit from those advantages. You just don't know them unless you're exceptional and you start to look like, oh, there has to be something else. There has to be something else.
Got it.
This city has a lot of programs, but they don't tell you about them. But they give them to people that come to the city. It's an anxious place, which is so ridiculous.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So when your guy ended up in jail, you didn't like judge him for that. It's sounding like, I don't let me put
because
words
all
in
my
your
friends were doing the same thing.
Right.
It was so how do you judge? You think the mafia judges each other?
Probably not.
Why would
like,
they?
Right.
Right. Why would they? The elite, when they are doing tax evasion and smuggling and sending their money to Switzerland, right? So many times, right? You think that everybody else is like, you really should pay those taxes to America. You really live here. Nobody's judging. That's all criminal activity.
Right.
I think that people, it's because it's black people, it seems more criminal. But no, we all doing crime. We're all doing crime. You come on.
Right. There are similarities. The similarities being, I want to make money and I want to keep as much of it as possible.
Right. I want to keep as much as it. But then the other aspect of that is I want to feed my families. Like you heard Biggie's songs. I'm just trying to make money to feed my daughter, right? But Biggie was full of shit because his mother was. But he lived on St. James in a nice brownstone, which means he wasn't poor. You know what I'm saying? He went to right, but that his story is just indicative of so many other people that was around him that had that same situation.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So you said that he had been or has been or whatever, kind of back and forth. Do you feel like that's indicative of that sort of trope that once you're in the system, it's difficult to get out of it?
No, I think that at a certain point you start making your own decisions, and then you start making the decision that's going to lead you into places that you should not be. And I feel like what happens is we come up in harsh situations sometimes, and there has to be a place in your life where you own it all. And I think that oftentimes people feel like they didn't have a fair shot, and then they just own the bitterness of that instead of thinking about it in a way where it's like, oh, I could do comedy and I could talk about this, and I'm a real live person that you can touch and feel that was there and had the story. But on the other side of it, you get to see my range. like authentically. So many people pretend like they had a hard life, and then they
People in comedy do it too.
They
by
go
the way.
about lying, and it's the stupidest thing, because I feel like your story has validity, and your story, no matter if you raised in Maine, and that does not make your pain any less. That doesn't make your story any less, riveting. But we have become caricatures of ourselves.
Interesting. Well, yeah, this is generally, I would say, good comedy advice too, because it's like when you first start, I think at least you don't know that what you're saying, like your experience has plenty to draw from. You kind of will pull from the more obvious stuff before you start to dig a little bit.
But I'm digging more now, because it's so crazy, because people are like, why didn't you talk about that? I didn't know that. And I'm like, and my daughter is a gangster rapper. But I don't say why, because her father's a fucking gangster.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This is what she saw. She did see me trying, but she did see him doing what he was doing.
Do you have a decent relationship with him, like today?
It's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not the same people.
Totally.
We're not the same people. And I feel like you don't have to. At a certain point, you can evolve.
Did you ever feel bitter, like working in your sort of white collar field, like that you kind of encountered a lot of people who had it significantly easier than some of the things that you were used to or had seen?
Yeah, it's all set up. So, I mean, I grew up in corporate America. Like, I went to college. I don't have any college debt because they paid for me to go to school, right? Okay. And I have some really great Jewish old man friends that have taught me so much about money and life and making decisions, and I just had lunch with one of them the other day, and he said to me, when you were making that decision about buying that house, I told him, I was like, this is the move that's going to set her up. And it was the move that's going to set me up.
Nice.
And he's like, that's the play. I'm glad you made that play.
Nice.
And I'm like,
That's
yeah,
cool.
like, you know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah.
So when you say that house, is this like the sort of investment property we were talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Cool. And how hands-on are you with that?
I mean, I did it when I was in my 30s. And so I'm hands-on. I'm hands-on.
We're not going to dox you.
Yeah, but I also, it's a story about that house. So I was making a little bit of money in corporate America, and there was a program called the American Dream Program where they would give you down payment assistance. So I applied for that program, and then there was another program, it still is in existence, called MACA, which would help you with down payment assistance. And then I bought the house from the city, and so it was like free. Like, I coupled all these, people talking about the grants. I coupled all these grants and stuff, and then it changed how I was moving in life.
Pretty
Good
good.
for you. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty incredible story.
Because it was set up for failure. Like, I was set up for failure.
Right.
But once my brain came in at like 26, I was like, wait, I'm going to be a loser.
Right.
Just like that. Not I'm going to be. Like, I'm going to be a loser. And I said, I don't want to.
Yeah.
And then, because that's generational, right? Somebody has to take the hit so that the next generation can do a thing. Philip Morris, right? Somebody had to take that hit.
Right.
That family, so that family could do something different.
Totally. No, it's so interesting. Such a cool story.
Giulio. On my way over here today, I walked by the Krusty Punks, and let me tell you, they're not wearing Meundies.
Are they wearing any undies?
I don't know, but they smell horrible.
I'm sure they do.
Even after the longest day in the sun, going down the subway, going from point A to point B, doing comedy shows, I always know that I'm secure, safe, and feeling fresh when I'm wearing my Meundies.
100%. Feeling fresh, feeling absorbed, feeling flexible, comfortable, perfect temperature. Meundies are the best underwear that exists. No matter what your specific underwear that you prefer is style-wise, they have you covered. Various colors and designs. I like the classic all black boxer brief. This is what daddy's wearing these days. Look at these puppies. They are beautiful. They are comfortable. My entire underwear drawer is filled with them. And it is the only underwear that I will wear. So if you're looking for good gifts this winter and all that stuff, buy them for a friend, enlighten them, show them what you've discovered knowing about the Meundies. Get yourself a pair too. We know you're going to love them.
Be your most comfortable self this fall with Meundies. Get 20% off your first order plus free shipping when you go to meundies.com/oopspodcast and use promo code oopspodcast. That's meundies.com/oopspodcast, promo code oopspodcast to get 20% off plus free shipping. Meundies, comfort from the outside in.
And your kids. So wait, so your daughter is a rapper.
Mm-hmm.
And then what does your other kid do?
So she's going to medical school now. She has a biochemistry degree, and now so she's
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's a fun sort of sisterhood.
Yeah, they're like very different people. Like I'm like now that they're getting older, they're becoming cool. But before it was like my white daughter and my black daughter, and they were racist against each other.
That is funny. That is funny.
Yeah.
And did you ever sort of like try to nudge them to do certain things? Like, are you fine with all the things that they're doing?
No, I'm a mom. I nudge all the time. Are you kidding me? I'm sending video. And now it's so good because you can just send a TikTok. You know you can be doing this with your life.
Right.
You know this is available. Yeah, no, I'm always pushing. I'm always nudging. I'm always trying to make sure that they see themselves how I see them, which is always going to be, you know, a step above how they see themselves.
Right. You see their potential more than they do,
Mm-hmm.
which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was, because I'm approaching a place where I'm, very seriously thinking about fatherhood,
In
what that's all
life,
going to look like. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And it's intimidating. Like I can barely get all the shit I need to do done now. How on earth am I going to do it when I have kids? So I'm always fascinated, by people who have children to begin with who do this, more so with people who have adult children. Although it sounds like they were sort of on their way or nearing or entering adulthood at the time.
They were.
Did that make it easier to approach doing comedy?
It made it more dire.
Meaning like I need to do this now, or
I need to do it now. I felt like I needed to do something for myself. And as I am growing in comedy, what I'm noticing is I speak for a lot of women, not just black women. I speak for a lot of women, aging women, dating women, mothering women, I speak for a lot. And I speak for a lot of men because of hip hop, because the way I view life, the younger people will say is a little pick-me-ish, I guess, because it's like how I want to say this. So, because the way I view life is more like a hip hop song. It's like, these are the rules. Bob Crackman, why you supposed to be a stand up person? Da, 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 da. And it's more feminine to just change your mind.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. And I'm like, well, yes or no, girl? Like what we doing?
I like
and I maybe that's just from getting older, and I realize. The shortness of life. It's like you don't really think about that until you got to think about it.
Right. And to me, it's like when you say I speak to whatever group of women you were just talking about, and there was a few, but in particular, if we say aging women, I think there is this trope that women start to become invisible as they get older.
Yeah.
Which is sad. And this idea that like, if once you're no longer whatever, like you're not desirable or whatever. And like, to me, it's like, all right, you are just like doing what you want. You look great. You're not allowing where you're at in life to dictate how, quote, youthfully you would approach things and attack things. And like, I could definitely see that being inspirational for people who feel like they're nearing a place where they're over the hill.
Yeah,
because
but
that's not true.
It's so not true.
Yeah.
Like, well, first of all, it's all what society told you it was. And then if you go outside of our society, they have another rhetoric that they got going on. It's just a whole different conversation. And so being that I've traveled outside of the country and I see how other groups of people do things, it's just bullshit. It's
totally.
just to sell you more stuff.
Right.
If you're aging, oh, that's good. So now we got to sell them neck cream and hand cream. We get to sell them vagina juice. We get to sell them whatever
What
it
is vagina juice?
I don't know. But we get to sell them whatever it is that we told them they were lacking.
Right.
Right?
Which is part of, to me, the interesting thing about, I relate to some of the things you said in a way, because like I grew up in a place where I didn't have access to a lot of different kinds of people necessarily, like small town. It wasn't close enough to any city that.
Where?
It's like 110 miles away from here in Connecticut.
Okay.
Which it's like not a commuter town. It's not near any of the commuter trains. So, and my family grew up here. So like I had like ties to New York. So we'd come here, whatever. And I went to school with a bunch of people who were sort of like from all over the world and all different sorts of backgrounds. And one thing I always found interesting about people who came from money was just how much access they had and the things that they thought were normal. Like they would tell me about their, sweet 16 or their bar mitzvah and telling me about how like some famous person performed at that. I was like, that's a thing. I was like, famous people perform at private events. I was like, I thought that it was like people who were on TV were like aliens to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, you can't do that. You know what I mean? Nobody can do that. Like nobody that I knew did it. So why would I think that I could? So it's interesting to your point, like seeing the way other people live or just seeing what other people's realities are can really shape what you think your possibilities are.
Right. Because it changes, it broadens it.
Yeah.
My children went to gifted and talented schools and all day schools. Right. And so all those kids were rich. Mm-hmm. They're like, hey, Ania, could Ania come with us to Italy for the summer? No. Why? Because she has camp. You know what I'm saying? Like Italy for the summer. Like they would own buildings in Manhattan. They used to have this potluck, and everyone had to go to different people's houses. And I remember going to somebody's house like.
Crazy townhouse.
I remember my daughter saying, why you gotta work so much? Nicholas mom.
Oh, God.
And I was like, Nicholas mom made better choices than I did.
Well, it sounds also Nicholas mom she got lucky too.
Yeah.
So it's like different groups of people do things well, and it's interesting to see what those things are because you really can learn from everybody, and it's not always obvious because sometimes people who are like well off or whatever, they think they know it all, what I mean? So they can't learn from other people. But I'm a big traveler. It's a big part of what I do. And I always am curious what little nuggets I can pick up from different people.
Yeah, that's the worst people, though. The people that think that they know everything, because oftentimes they're cynical and depressed. Mm-hmm. Because if you know everything, then you know that nobody can help you. Mm-hmm. And hope is a very big thing that we need as humans. You have to feel like, damn, at least it could get better. It could. Right. It could get better.
Right.
Well, but if you know everything, then you know it may not.
Well, the other thing too, it's like you sort of only like compare yourself to your closest circle or whatever. So I've always found it's interesting that a lot of those people who run in those upper echelon circles, they're like super competitive and depressed because they feel like they don't have enough, even though to a person who has less, they have everything. How could they ever? And it just kind of like never ends.
But I'm around those kind of people too. And I just watched the Meundies brothers. Oh God.
I haven't watched it yet.
I just started that.
Oh my God. It's so good.
It's crazy,
so good. Right. But those kind of people oftentimes they're so competitive, but they cheat. Right. So the people that they're competing with are cheating. So that makes the competition even worse. I realized that people took Adderall to take like standardized tests. And I'm like, so why are they talking shit to the baseball players? Like it is an enhancement drug. Your regular brain does not concentrate
brain doping
for 3 hours. Right. But so many people have done that in order to get to a certain level. Like they all cheating, and it's cool. So what they sell to the common man is you have to be upright. You have to be a Christian. You got to be honest. And as you're being honest, everybody else is winning.
Right. Which is a little cynical, but true.
But it's the truth.
It is
while
true.
While you've been told to be honest, everyone else is cheating.
Right. Getting ahead.
Even on social media, you look at the content creators. That's not their real house. Right. That's not their car. You sitting there looking like a loser, feeling like a loser because you just ingesting people's crap. But most times that's not their stuff because most people with stuff are quiet.
Right.
The richest people I know pretend like they are so poor, and it's so funny.
Right.
Because they'll have like a Birkin bag, and then they'll say, "Girl, it's fake."
Yeah, that's
Bitch, no, it's not. I'm not dumb. It's not fake. I've been in her mess.
That's a funny thing though. There is like a level of person, quote, if we're doing this, that can like pull off fake shit though.
Yeah.
Like that is an accomplishment. Getting to a place where your whole aesthetic is a certain way that you can have the fake one and no one will say shit.
Right, but you're not living in the projects.
Right. No, you're
Right.
not.
You know, there's money there.
Yeah.
You're just not choosing not to do that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because everybody else thinks it. Because that's why you buy the thing. Because people are gonna think.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, speaking of cheating, and you don't have to answer this question, but are you au natural?
What?
You get any work done?
On my face?
Or just, yeah.
No. On my body? No, that's me.
Okay.
Ow.
You have
Maybe
good
it's
angles.
like-
You have
No.
good, you have good dimensions in a way that people pay for. So I'm always
That's
curious.
But you know what's so crazy? I have keloid skin, first of all. So nobody's putting any knife next to me at all.
What's that?
It's like if my skin gets cut, it does not. It's over process of collagen. Like I have more than enough. So it won't. If
Must
so,
be nice.
So
So it's like armor. She got body armor.
it's called melanin.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, no, I've never had anything done.
And do you have like any sort of routine that you do? Sometimes people are curious about that. Any skincare?
Oh,
or
skincare.
any tricks of the trade?
Vaseline? No. No. I just wash my face. I know.
Crazy.
It's not our fault. We had to get something. God damn,
Yeah.
we had slavery. Like, could we get something that's black people?
It's fair. It's fair. It's fair.
Damn, man. He got Botox. He's like, this is bullshit. I'm 23. This is not fair. This is not fair to me.
Yeah, I mean, the preservation process, I'm always curious about if anybody's up to tricks. And yeah, some people just, nope, I'm just living my life.
No, I don't. No, I don't feel like. Maybe I guess eventually I will. No.
You got any vices?
What you mean?
Like bad habits or things that you
I
shouldn't
fall
be-
asleep with my makeup on. You talking about for beauty?
I mean, no, just in general. Like you drink, you do any of
Vices,
that? Do you do any bad shit?
Yeah. What you mean?
I don't
Like,
know,
do I drink?
smoking,
I
What
drink.
drinking.
what gets you off?
Sexually?
Doesn't mean sexually. It's what scratches your itch.
Lynchy
I have-
dog.
Could be sex.
I have this
Could be.
Brickstone back massager. You plug it in though. This is bad. And this cord is not even that long, so you gotta like.
Wait, what is this? This is a pleasure tool? Wow, very nice.
The ladies know exactly what I'm talking about. Brickstone black massager. Okay, so
Okay, nice, solid.
that's pleasuring. That gets me off. But what gets me off? What gets me off? I know it's gonna sound stupid. It's comedy. It's like my
You're like addiction.
it's my addiction. You right?
Yeah, I mean, I relate to it to some degree, but I like can get worn out pretty easily. So I try to pace myself. I'm not like, there's some nights where I'm there where I don't want to be.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I need to do this anyway because, I know how important the consistency aspect is.
Yeah.
I've been doing it a while.
I think that well, I was in Scotland. I did Fringe.
Oh, nice.
So I was in Scotland in August.
This year you did it?
Yeah.
Nice. How was that experience?
It was great. It was we sold out 20 of the 25 shows.
Congratulations.
So that was good because it was a New York theme. And
So did you do it with other people?
yeah,
Who?
I did it with Glory Mora
Oh, yeah.
and this girl named Mika Mo.
Okay.
And so we did Three Queens in New York. And so that was good. The needing to produce the show every night.
Yeah.
Needing to run it every night because I hosted it because I do a character called Old Dog, which is like an old school Brooklyn guy. So I'm like a guy and I was the host and then I headlined the end of it. So that was like dope.
Cool.
So I was able to push my comedy and I feel like it's given me more creative freedom to just talk about whatever and not be so worried about, oh, I missed that tag. I missed that tag.
Right.
Because even the process of miss that tag, what are we preparing for?
Well, for you, you're preparing for your next special.
But what I'm saying is, what you missed the tag, it's probably it'll lead to another thing. Sometimes we get I used to get hyper fixated on, oh, I forgot the whole other half of that joke.
Yeah.
But jokes like life
too.
are evolving and it moves. And if you keep it that stagnant, then you don't give it any more room to grow.
Agreed.
That's
I
what I
agree with that.
learned.
Like it's to some degree, the act is like an organism that can live on its own in some way. So like if you try to micromanage it too much, you can definitely suck the life out of it. But I understand though. I think I actually think it's healthy to be aware of all that and like not let it be too debilitating when you don't do it perfectly.
Right.
Because like maybe the tag is good and you want to say it and like, but you might forget it and you might even forget it in your special taping and that's fine.
And it's fine.
It's fine.
It's not rocket science.
No one's going to notice except you, and you got to kind of give yourself a little leeway.
And do I have anything on my nose?
No, I was just reaching my.
You know when people do that, when they do their nose, and then you like, you just do it automatically. Do you do that when people do something to their nose?
They do it a certain way, yeah.
What's the way? They got to look
Lynch,
each other
very
in the eye.
sexual over there.
No.
This is very sexual. Wait.
If you're
I don't have my bandies. Maybe I should have.
If you're feeling vulnerable or insecure, you're probably going to check.
Okay.
If you think that you're looking fresh, you probably won't. Unless they
Okay.
do it for more than 3 seconds, and then they're like poking at.
But
poking at it.
but anything could be in your nose, even if you're fresh, right?
Just do one of those.
It's possible.
Yeah.
But do you drink?
Sometimes. But I don't overindulge in anything for real. Like I started drinking in my 30s.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I wasn't like, my life was hard enough.
Right, no,
I was like, I need to be sober and see all this shit.
Right.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you had a lot going on too, so it's like
I was a
over-drinking.
mom young, so that was going to be hard to do all that stuff.
Right.
Which I feel like that was probably a saving grace because I didn't indulge in a lot of things that a lot of people were indulging in at that time, and then maybe that aged them. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, that could have something to do with it. Moderation.
Moderation.
Are you dating at all?
I am dating.
How's that going?
It is so boring. God.
So you're just going on dates with people and
It's boring. It's boring because I'm trying not to give my energy to men. You know, I'm just kind of trying to like meet where they are. And y'all are boring when you're not comedians. You know what I'm trying to say? Because it's like we have the gift of gab. We could go into an act out. We can change the whole energy of a thing.
Right.
And that's an easy thing. But oftentimes we're sadistic people and nobody want to date us for real.
yeah.
Not other comedians. That don't make sense. But
It's intimidating to date a comedian. And I bet even more so the other way around. I know like for a woman, it can be hard for a man to be able to handle somebody who is that bold or that, you know, quote, confident in the way that they are, that they can perform. And they don't want to like, they can't handle not having the spotlight or something.
And we listen to the nuances. Like as comedians, I'll when you're about to talk, I'm gonna like most people just
Right.
and then a lot of people are kind of boring. Like I feel like, and I don't want to blame everything on social media, but I feel like with social media, we don't have to connect like we used to have to connect, and you don't have to put on a show because you're just watching your phone and you're watching the show. So when it's time to really interact with people, you don't really have much to say.
Right. That makes sense.
And so now I'm just kind of on days like,
You got a type?
no, I'm just trying new things.
Got it. So you ever date a white guy?
Not yet. I was trying to do it in Scotland. But they act like black people. I just want to tell you that. They act like country black people. And I was like, oh, this is bullshit. I was like, what is happening? They
With your
fry
white
everything.
black ass.
This your white black ass. I was like, get the hell out. The girls, their butts are big. They talking shit. They not jogging, no kale. I was like, wait. I had an argument. I got in an argument. I got an argument with this lady from Scotland. And she was like, and I was like, this bitch mocking me. She's like, are you mocking me? And I was like, oh, wow. We got a lot of stuff from that region, Scottish
Hilarious.
and Irish people.
Hilarious.
I was like, no, well, I won't be doing that. Pack
is
up my
great.
goodies.
That is hilarious.
Let me bring it back to America.
So you're going on dates, but nobody has impressed you
Not
enough
yet.
yet. to,
Not
like-
yet.
Have
Yeah.
you gone on like a few dates with anybody?
Yeah, kind of. But what it is, I normally do, I'm one of those relationship girlies. So every time I start dating somebody, all of a sudden I'm in a relationship that I don't want to be in.
Well, but then if you don't want to be in it, how do you become?
Because it's easy. It's like we're chilling. I ain't gotta run. They ain't gotta run. You know,
You're talking. You got somebody to talk to.
It's you know how y'all guys are on it. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, gorgeous.
Grand rising. Every morning, every fucking morning. So you're gonna do that 6 days in a row, and on the 7th day you're gonna be like God and rest. Like what's happening? Like, oh right, trying to get me used to it. It's just people don't even know how to interact anymore.
Right.
This is crazy to me. Like I'm just talking to you. We just having a conversation. What's up? See you later. But it's not weird. It's not anything. But people like.
Right.
Because these podcast people, shout out to podcast people, I have one too. But when they talk about relationships, sometimes they may be like ostracizing the sexes, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's like, don't give a girl any money.
Right.
Well, I'm talking about
Do
what's
that.
on my algorithm.
Men should do this. Women should do that.
Right. What a man should be doing. No, they should just be human. Just find the person that you can stomach, that you feel, giddy around in the beginning, and that you proud of how they live life.
Do you like a guy who sends you like emotive texts? Who's somebody who's like, hi babe, like hi gorgeous? Like, do you like what's your vibe when it comes to like a guy communicating with you?
So I like compliments, but I've been love bombed so many times.
Right.
Like I don't even trust the compliments. I'm like, is this a real compliment?
Right. They're just trying to.
What you mean I'm busy? Are you trying to stop me from being busy?
Right.
Is that going to be a problem in 2 weeks?
Mm.
Like, so I don't know. I really like where I am now. So I do like the good morning, gorgeous. But I do like to get lost in the shuffle sometimes. So I don't want communication every day.
Right.
So that means I don't
shit
really
going
want to be in a
on.
relationship, because that is communication every day, right?
So when's the last time you had like a quote boyfriend that was like something that was
Like last year.
and how long?
It was like for a couple of years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what happened? Fizzled out or what?
But it was a couple of years not really going anywhere.
Got it.
So it was just a couple of years.
And what about from an age perspective? Like you could easily date younger guys because
I do date younger guys.
you're competitive, your aesthetics are competitive, not to sound shallow, but like if you're, again, we don't know how old you are. We don't need to know, but like I
They're
suspect.
going to be in the comments.
Yeah.
All you got to do is Google.
That extra step makes people fall off.
Yeah, uh-huh.
So you date younger guys, and that's typically what you're doing.
Yeah, I date younger guys and I date older men.
Nice.
I've dated younger guys and I have dated older men.
Okay. So your I don't have a type thing, it seems to be holding up.
Yeah, it's just like a cool thing, and because I feel like the type. Well, maybe I haven't met my type yet, but they need to be cool.
Yeah.
And they need to be worldly, and they need to have some money, and they need to be smart. Like I love having conversations where people teach me stuff, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, I'm ashamed to say it, I don't know who this man is.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Okay. We're getting on to the prototype for how to approach this lovely young lady is starting to unfold.
Are you gonna set me up?
I mean, we could theoretically.
Okay,
if you
I'm
want.
4'11". I would rather somebody not that short. Thanks.
Got it.
Because little men love me.
Because they think they got a shot.
Oh my God, no! Because they get to like forehead kiss me. They've never forehead kissed anybody, but me, don't forehead kiss me. Try to take my brain cells. I'm sorry.
What's your ideal height from like a baseline? Like, what's the shortest guy in an ideal scenario
What's the shortest guy?
that you'd be interested in?
I've dated shorter, but I would rather like at least 5'9".
Okay.
That's short, right?
I mean, I'd say that some
How tall
people,
are you?
6.
we both have soft height.
Soft height?
Yeah, like I'm 6'6" also, and people always are like, "You are?" I'm like, "Yes, stand next to me."
Right.
I call that soft height.
No, I think that just means that your body is proportional.
Okay.
Right, correctly.
Take
It's
that.
supposed to look like that. Some people have a short torso and then they have
Right.
all these long legs or long, so maybe that's what it is.
And physically, like, Do you like skinny guys? You like guys who are like got a little meat on them? You like muscle guys?
I think I like a bigger guy because I was dating a skinny guy, and when you date a skinny guy, it's like when you lay on their chest, it's like laying on the floor. It's like you just laid your head on the floor.
Yeah.
It's like time out. Lay down. It's no pillow.
The floor is funny. I've never heard that.
Shout out to the skinny guys. Y'all okay? Because I'm telling you, these comments be acting crazy. You know what else? You're like, hi, I just want to say grace and peace and God bless you. Fuck yeah, man. You're like, God, okay, sorry.
Relax. But so, like, now as your comedy career sort of like continues to progress and all that stuff, you're doing stuff, whatever. I wonder, like, what do you think it would even be more challenging now to like date a person who wasn't in comedy? Would you date a comic? Like, do you ever think about any of that stuff?
I don't think it's well. I would just go back. Male comedians, you guys have fans. I see them all the time. People show up to the shows with their girlfriends. We have weirdos. Women comedians. Oh my, what's wrong with these guys? Like it's weird. It's weird. That's the one thing. And then so back to what your question was, would I date a comedian? No, unless he's really, really well off, up in his game, doing what he needs. We can't be trying to get the same spots. That ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna work. And so, and I feel like, I don't know. I think the comedians need to marry non-comedians. I think that we just need to not. But then sometimes we do. But I feel like even when I see the comedy marriages, because I have a lot of friends that are comics that are married, one's career always does this thing. And I always wonder, what does the other person feel? Because yes, y'all got more money and y'all doing things because somebody's successful. But I guess Tina Fey, she's married to, he's a comedian.
Really?
Yeah, he was. I think they met in Second City or something.
Interesting.
I wonder what that feels like. I know that if it was me, I would be jealous.
Yeah, I think too. So I sort of think about this.
Right?
I think about this too, and I know that the people who are in it, like, definitely have that thought process a lot. I'm sure they have ways of like dealing with it or whatever. This is
Jeff Richmond is Tina Fey's husband.
Yeah, and who is he?
Jeff who?
Richmond.
No, I'm saying.
Yeah, right. But that is Jeff Richmond. Jeff who, right?
Yeah.
So it's that.
Composer, comedian, producer, director. He worked on 30 Rock.
And the thing that I would find hard, I think, is and look, now things ebb and flow too. Like, I've seen comedy couples where one person was like clearly the dominant one doing better, and like time goes on and then that other person gets their moment. And like, that's the thing too in comedy. Like, people have moments, like ebbs and flows, ups and downs, whatever. But what would be hard for me if I had a comedy wife, girlfriend, whatever, if she was doing so much better than me, it would be hard for me to like, we would definitely get in fights about her saying some shit like she knows better than I do, and it's obvious because her career is so much better.
Right.
That would be a fight.
Right.
I'd be like, well, that thing you did is fucking hacky, and I'm a purist. Like, I see this cringe fight
but do
happening.
you see it?
Yes.
Though, right? And you're not even in that situation.
I understand that.
But it's because it's tied to your dream.
Right.
Right? Anything that's tied to two accountants don't give a goddamn who gets what. I mean, maybe a little bit depending on who gets like more money. But when something is tied to your dream, you're vulnerable. And you're always going to be vulnerable in that space because this is something that you hold dear to your heart. It's just a little different.
Totally. Totally. Yeah. I could say, and for me, I like it. So I feel like my fiance, she understands comedy well enough that's helpful. I also like her opinion. So like, if I have a question about something, I feel good showing her. Like, I like that better.
And is she funny?
She's very funny.
Right. So now you got material.
Right. No, she definitely.
You'd be like, wait, I'm gonna write that down.
No, totally.
Right. You can't do that. If she was a comic, she'd be like, that's my joke.
That's my bit. Yeah, no, totally. So anyway, yeah, all such a wild thing. And okay, so you just did your special, or you put your special. I know you shot it a while ago. But you released it recent-ish.
I released it on August 1st.
Nice. And it's amazing you're already filming another one. Have you been like working on that new hour for a while?
Yeah.
Got it.
So I've been working on this next one for a little while. And that's why I released the last one, because I was like, I'm ready for a new thing.
Right.
I'm ready for a new thing. And because my other special, love it, Playtime, and you guys need to watch it. But it's about, you know, raising my daughters and my ex-husband and being raised by a single mom and my mother's story and that kind of stuff. But this is more about me now. Here I stand. Oh, that's a good name for a special.
I like that.
Somebody already took it, probably.
I don't even, we got to double check. Here I stand. I think it's up for grabs.
It feels like, what's the guy? Steve Martin would have.
Right.
Yeah, that's sorry, Steve. My
Sorry,
apologies.
It's the name of an Usher album.
Is it? That's it?
Yeah.
Okay, I could do it then.
That could work. Well, congratulations. Looking forward to everything that you're working on. Always love bumping into you in the comedy scene.
Me too.
And,
we didn't talk about this.
oh, what is that?
So this is my lipstick line.
Oh, cool.
I have like a little merch,
Nice.
and it's on my website, OnikaMcLean.com, but it's
Smart.
called Main Stage, and it is a microphone. And it's a microphone because comedy is the reason why I started telling my story, and it kind of freed me. And the microphone amplifies that. It amplifies your voice. So I have like different colors. This is
I
the
love
red.
it. I love it.
And yeah, you could probably cap that. Get it today.
Yeah, good to have. Like, I still need to figure out what the fuck my merch is. I like go on the road all the time, and I don't have.
No,
I got it, and that's great too.
You
'cause it's
leaving money.
small.
You leaving money on the table.
I know.
And
That's
people
very
want to
clever.
remember. And the other piece, once you make people laugh, they just want to support you a little more.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they want a little piece of you.
Totally. It's
Yeah.
true. It's true. I gotta get on that. But anyway, where can we find you on social media?
Oh, Onika Comedy on all social media platforms. I think TikTok is like Onika McLean Comedy, and that was because I did my Don't Tell, and they needed to add me. And
Gotcha.
yeah.
It's at Onika, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. At Onika Comedy, at Onika McLean on TikTok. Special taping November 21st at Velvet
Brooklyn.
Velvet Brooklyn. Check out the special Playtime on YouTube. And thanks for pulling up. Lynch, you got anything you want to plug?
Jersey City on October 10th, November 2nd in New York, as well as November 8th. More info on my Instagram at Ryan is really polite.
Oh, wait, I have one other thing.
Plug it.
I'm doing the New York Comedy Festival
yeah.
November 8th at the Stand. It's going to be an evening with Onika, so get your tickets. Those tickets are already on my website, Onika, Onika, McLean, McLean.com.
Excellent. And I'm going to be at the Funny Bone in Columbus, 13th of October. Hereafter at the Crocodile, Seattle, October 26th. Got more dates coming. Thank you guys. Goodbye.